Well, a very good afternoon to you, and we are glad that you have joined us for this National Assembly proceedings afternoon sitting on this 5th day of December, the year 2023. And this is a live broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Members of the National Assembly will this afternoon consider a procedural motion by the leader of the majority party, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah. This is a procedural motion that will be moved by the leader of the majority party and will be seeking to have the House approve Thursday morning sitting this Thursday over the 7th of December, that the House to hold a morning sitting on this particular day. And this is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 30, Part 3C, that the House will agree to hold a morning sitting for purposes of considering priority business ahead of the December recess. Remember, the House is set to proceed on a long recess from this week. The last sitting is expected to be this week on the Thursday, and thereby this morning sitting that the members are seeking to hold this Thursday morning will be to enable the House consider priority business ahead of that particular recess. And the Thursday morning sitting, remember, the House normally sits on Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, and Wednesday afternoon, and a Thursday afternoon. But this procedural motion is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 30, 3C. That indicates that the House will be meeting or may be meeting on any other day in order to transact business. So that is a procedural motion that this afternoon the members will be considering and will be moved by the leader of the majority party. The sitting will start at 9:30 in the morning. The members of the National Assembly will also consider a procedural motion that will also be moved by the leader of the majority party. This procedural motion seeks to have the publication period of a specified bill to be reduced, and this is pursuant to Standing Order number 120 to have the National Government Administration Laws Amendment Bill originating from the National Assembly, Bill number 73 of 2023, to be reduced from 14 days, which is the normal period for publication of a bill, to 11 days. This is the National Government Administration Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 73 of 2023. And then this bill is also lined up for first reading at the National Assembly chambers this afternoon. The National Government Administration Laws Amendment Bill 2023 seeks to make various amendments to the Assumption of Office of President Act 2012. And in this particular act, it aims to amend the Assumption of the Office of the President Act with the objective of strengthening the composition of the Assumption of the Office of the President Committee by incorporating the Secretary to the National Security Council and the Principal Secretary responsible for defense as additional members of the committee. The bill also seeks to enhance the representation of the President-elect in the committee by increasing the number of representatives of the President-elect from 3 to 6. This is one of the amendments that this bill seeks to make amendments to. Also, the National Security Council Act is part of the acts that will be undergoing some amendments owing to this particular bill. This is the National Security Council Act 2012. But as you can see, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Boss, is in the chambers. She will be presiding over this afternoon's sitting. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Leaders and parliaments, for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor. Ask your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. May I have my card? May I have my, he has my card. We may proceed. Honorable Makilap, we have not even begun the session. Allow us to begin. You may proceed. First order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, you may recall that during the afternoon sitting of Thursday, 23rd November 2023, the House rejected all Senate amendments to the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2023. This decision consequently remitted the bill to a mediation committee in accordance with Article 112 of the Constitution and Standing Order number 149. Honorable members, you may recall that during the afternoon sitting of Wednesday, 29th November 2023, I notified the House that in accordance with Article 113 of the Constitution, I had nominated 7 members of the House to represent the National Assembly in the mediation committee on the bill. I also designated the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, Honorable Ndindi Njoro, MP, to co-chair the committee. Honorable members, having conveyed the decision to the Senate, I wish to inform the House that the Senate has now nominated the following senators to the mediation committee. 1, Senator Ali Ibrahim Roba, EGH MP, who is a co-chairperson. And 2, Senator Esther Akinyuri, MP. 3, Senator Veronica Waheti Maina, MP. 4, Senator Lenku Olekanar Seki, MP. 5, Senator Eddie Geshoru Okech, MP. And 6, Senator Shakali Abdallah Muhammad, MP. And 7, Senator Betty Batuli Montet, MP. Honorable members, now that the mediation committee is fully constituted, I urge the committee to expeditiously commence the consideration of the contested clauses with a view to concluding the process within the timelines provided by Article 113 of the Constitution. Additionally, the clerk is hereby directed to appropriately facilitate the committee, and the House is accordingly guided. Signed by the Right Honorable Substantive Speaker, Honorable Moses Wetangula. On that particular communication, why don't we get to the next, and then you'll have it at your statements. Yes. Next order. Just so that it's tidy.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Honorable members, Article 119 of the Constitution accords any person the right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority. Further, Standing Order 2252B requires the Speaker to report to the House any petition other than those presented by a member. In this regard, honorable members, I wish to report to the House that my office has received a petition from former employees of the Bohemian Flowers Limited in Nakuru County. The petitioners are citing unfair redundancy, summary dismissal, and suspension from employment. The petitioners state that the management of Bohemian Flowers Limited based their dismissal criteria on a violent strike that had occurred at the premises and which they were not part of. Honorable members, the petitioners state that the former workers sought the assistance with the Labor Office in Naivasha Sub-County under Section 71 of the Employment Act on the 19th of April 2023 without success. The petitioners aver that immediately thereafter, their positions were advertised immediately after they were dismissed and recruitment done despite various correspondences between the Labor Office, Naivasha Sub-County, and the management of Bohemian Flowers Limited. The petitioners further aver that even after the dismissal, it had become extremely difficult for them to access their pension schemes funds from Kenindia Assurance Company. Honorable members, the petitioners claim that the Bohemian Flowers Limited did not use payroll numbers while transmitting their wages and salaries, but were paid through biometric machines that have no backup for purposes of identifications. The petitioners thus seek the intervention of the House to investigate whether the whole process of summary dismissal and suspension from employment was done within the law and whether it is just and fair. Honorable members, having established that the matter raised in the petition is well within the authority of this House, and further that the matters raised in the petition are not pending before any court of law or any constitutional or legal body, I hereby commit the petition to the Public Petitions Committee for consideration pursuant to Standing Order numbers 208A. The committee is required to consider the petition and report its findings to the House and to the petitioners in accordance with Standing Order 227 of our standing orders. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members to sit before I move to the next petition. Honorable members, take your seats. Okay, honorable members, Article 119 of the Constitution accords any person the right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority. Further, Standing Order 225-2B requires the Speaker to report to the House any petition other than those presented by a member. In this regard, honorable members, I wish to report to the House that my office has received a petition from one Roberts Junuka Wekesa of P.O. Box 163, Bungoma, representing teachers employed by the Teacher Service Commission to teach learners with disabilities both in special school and special school units all over the country. The petitioner states that the Teacher Service Commission, jointly with the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, undertook a job evaluation in the public teaching sector, whose recommendations culminated in career guidelines, which were implemented on the 8th of November 2017 and replaced the scheme of service for teachers. Honorable members, consequently, the Teacher Service Commission established a new grading structure, increasing job scales from 10 to 11 grades, which in the opinion of the petitioner were not correctly placed for the special needs education teachers as per the career progression guidelines of 2018. Honorable members, the petitioner claims that their efforts to have the matter addressed by the Teacher Service Commission through the Kenya Union of Special Needs Education Teachers, KUSNET, have not been fruitful. The petitioner therefore prays that the National Assembly intervenes to revert to the provision of the career progression guidelines of 2018 applicable to the special needs education institution, but date the implementation date. Honorable members, I have established that the matter raised in the petition is well within the authority of this House, and further, that the matters raised in this petition are not pending before any court of law, constitutional body, or legal body. I hereby commit the petition to the Public Petitions Committee for consideration pursuant to Standing Order 208A. Honorable members, the committee will be required to consider the petition and report its findings to the House and to the petitioner in accordance to Standing Order 227-2. Thank you, honorable members.
Order number 5, papers.
Yes, honorable members. Papers, Majority Leader.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 5th December 2023. Annual report and financial statement of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, the year 2021-2022 from Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. 2, examination of the report of the Auditor General on accounts of the State Department for Tourism for the financial year ended 30th June 2022 from the Ministry of Tourism. 3, annual report of the State of the Judiciary and the Administration on Justice for the year 2022-2023 from the Judiciary. 4, scorecard report of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports for the year 2022-2023. 5, reports of the Auditor General and financial statement for the year ended 30th June 2023 and the certificates therein in respect of a 50 megawatts solar power plant in Garissa project, rural electrification and renewable energy corporation. B, last mile connectivity project phase 2, Kenya Power and Lightning Company PLC. E, USAID Boresha Jamii project, Jaramogi Oginga University of Science and Technology. D, Global Fund, HIV and AIDS project, National Syndemic Disease Control Council. E, Mombasa Gate Bridge Construction Project 1, Kenya National Highway Authority. F, Nairobi Ring Transmission Line Project, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited. G, Global Fund to reduce malaria incidences and deaths by at least 75% of 2016 level by 2023, working towards malaria-free Kenya program, Ministry of Health. H, GOK, UNICEF Education for Young People Program, State Department for Early Learning and Basic Education. I, COVID-19 Health Emergency Response Project, Ministry of Health. And J, System for Land-Based Emission and Estimation in Kenya, SLIC Project, Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. Madam Speaker, I lay.
Thank you. Next, the chairperson for the Committee on Delegated Legislation. I think yours is third, Honorable Bukose.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In fact, I'm informing my good friend, the Honorable Bukose, that it follows alphabetically. So he has to wait. I finish because mine is delegated, is his health, so it comes after mine. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 5th December 2023. Reports of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the following regulations. 1, the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Criminal Assets Recovery Fund, Regulation 2023, Legal Notice number 151 of 2023. 2, the Prevention of Terrorism, Implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppression of terrorism, Regulation 2023, Legal Notice number 152 of 2023. And finally, number 3, the Public Finance Management Ulinzi Prime Health Services Fund, Regulations 2023, Legal Notice number 175 of 2023. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Next, the Honorable Member for Endebess. I think Chairperson Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, it is not working. I don't know what's the problem. I need the ICT people to look at it. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 5th December 2023. Reports of the Departmental Committee on Health on 1, its consideration of the agreement on the establishment of the International Vaccine Institute, IVI, and 2, the Health System Management Training in Galilee International Management Training Institute in Israel from 30th May to 7 June 2023. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
There are more papers? Okay, next order. Committee on Diaspora, yes, I can see it here. Committee on Diaspora Affairs and Migrant Workers.
Thank you, Madam
Proceed,
Speaker.
Honorable Laika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 5th December 2023. The report of the Delegation of Diaspora Affairs and Migrant Workers Committee to 1. Inspection visit to the Kenyan Embassy in Ottawa, Canada, conducted from 18th to 23rd September 2023. And the second one, the 10th session of the Working Group on the Smuggling of Migrants and Constructive Dialogue on the United Nations Convention Against Transformational Organized Crime. Review mechanism held from 5th to 9th October 2023 in Vienna, Australia. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chairperson, Committee on Health, do you have another report? Right, next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Proceed, Honorable Chepkonga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Criminal Assets Recovery Fund Regulation 2023, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 5th December 2023, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 113, subsection 2 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act 2009, approves the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Criminal Assets Recovery Fund Regulation 2023, published as legal notice number 151 of 2023. I have a second one, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the prevention of terrorism, implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppression of terrorism, Regulation 2023, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 5th December 2023, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 36A, subsection 2 of the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2012, approves the prevention of terrorism, implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on suppression of terrorism, Regulation 2023, published as legal notice number 152 of 2023. Honorable Speaker, would I be in order under Standing Order number 83 to request you to suppress the noise that is emanating from Honorable
Honorable
Atandi,
members,
who has vacated this place to come and interfere with the proceedings on this other side. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to request that the Vice Chair moves the next motion. The Vice Chair.
proceed.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this.
Please give him the mic. He's completing the third one. Okay, so I think Honorable Chepua, you may proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Committee on the Delegated Registration on its consideration of the Public Finance Management Ulinzi Prime Health Services Fund Regulations 2023, laid on the table of the House on the Tuesday, 5th December 2023, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 24, subsection 4 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, approves the Public Finance Management Ulinzi Prime Health Services Fund Regulation 2023, published as legal notice number 175 of 2023. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Next notice of motion, the chairperson for the Committee on Diaspora Affairs and Migrant Workers. Are you moving a notice of? You have already done that? Okay. Next is the chair. Yeah, Chair Health first. Okay. The chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health. Your notice of motion. Okay, no notice of motion. States here that you do. Huh? It says here that you are moving a notice of motion on the establishment of the International Vaccine Institute. Yeah.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts a report of the Departmental Committee on Health on its consideration of the agreement on the establishment of the International Vaccine Institute, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 5th December 2023, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 8.4 of the Treaty Making and Ratification Act 2012, approves the ratification of the agreement on the establishment of the International Vaccine Institute. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Go to the next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable Member Wanani Wamboka, member for Bumula. Honorable Minority Leader, you're going to have an opportunity soon after the questions and statements.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to pay tribute to the late Honorable Lawrence Sifuna, former Member of Parliament, Bungoma South, which included
Honorable members, out of respect for our departed
Kandui and
colleague,
Bumula constituencies.
let us listen to his tribute. Honorable Daud.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 259D, I wish to report to the House the demise of the late Honorable Lawrence Sifuna, distinguished former member for Bungoma South, now Kandui and Bumula constituencies, who passed away on Saturday, 2nd December 2023 at Medihill Hospital in Eldoret while undergoing treatment after a short illness. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Lawrence Sifuna was born on 23rd January 1946 in Bungoma County. He attended Sangalo School and later joined Nalondo Intermediate School. He thereafter moved to Mariri College in Uganda, where he sat for the Cambridge General Certificate of Education CGSE examination. In pursuit of his career, he trained as a chartered accountant and became an accomplished fellow of Chartered Accountants, FCA, and a fellow of Association of International Accountants. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Sifuna made his debut in Parliament after securing victory in parliamentary elections on 8th November 1979 as the first member for Bungoma South constituency. He thereafter served for 2 terms up to 1988, being the term of the 4th and 5th parliaments. He was re-elected in the first multi-party general election in 1992 on a Ford Asili ticket as the member for Kandui constituency, having been renamed from the Bungoma South constituency. The late Honorable Sifuna was an astute legislator who executed his duties with dedication and courage. His contributions to Parliament, its committees, and the plenary were invaluable, and his colleagues held him in high esteem. Honorable Speaker, the late Sifuna later left the political arena and transitioned to establishing and managing his businesses in Bungoma town. In his death, we celebrate a life of a well-respected public figure. He will be remembered as an ardent leader who defended human rights and democratic ideals, as well as being an active live member of the ODM party. The late Honorable Sifuna also advocated for the rights and welfare of sugarcane farmers to improve their living conditions and contributed immensely in the development of the region. Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf and that of my constituents, I wish to extend my deepest condolences to the family of the late Honorable Sifuna, including our colleague, the Honorable Senator for Nairobi, Honorable Sifuna, and the people of Bungoma for the loss of a remarkable leader. I also want to urge the executive to make this funeral a state function so that we accord this leader all that he requires. May his soul rest in eternal peace. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, pursuant to Standing Order 259D 3 under tributes of the House, I will exercise my discretion to allow a few members to make a few comments and pay tribute to our departed colleague. We will each have 2 minutes just for efficiency. The Honorable Member for Navakolo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the great people of Navakolo and on behalf of myself, wish to convey my sincere condolences for the people of Kandui currently and Bumula, Honorable Speaker, where the late Lawrence Sifuna served as their Member of Parliament. Honorable Speaker, this is a great man who debated very well in this House, and when you look at the answer, Honorable Speaker, the exchanges he made between himself and the late Charles Njojo made it possible, Honorable Speaker, that he was named one of the 7 bearded sisters. A terminology, Honorable Speaker, which is in itself indicating on one side a lady, on the other side a man. Honorable Speaker, meaning he was both-sided. He was a strong man. And the 7 bearded members, Honorable Speaker, including George Anyona and the like, were very tough members who could debate on the floor and make deliver the right message. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for that and convey my sincere condolences to the family. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kandui, Honorable John Makali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also add a voice on the demise of the late Honorable Lawrence Sifuna. The late Honorable Lawrence Sifuna represented Kandui constituency at the onset of multi-party democracy, the constituency of which I represent at the moment. On my own behalf and on behalf of the great people of Kandui, I wish to pass my sincere condolences to the family, friends and relatives of the late Honorable Lawrence Sifuna, and specifically to our Senator for Nairobi, Honorable Edwin Sifuna. The late Lawrence Sifuna was a fearless defender of the people. He spoke to authority. He defended Kandui people to the last. He was a fearless debater. He was an astute legislator. He immortalized himself on the floor of this House by the contributions he made on the floor of his House in defense of his people. We as people of Kandui and the entire Bungoma County and Kenya as a whole have lost a patriot, a serious legislator, and a defender of the rights of the people. I join this House and the entire nation in mourning such a great man, and we ask ourselves, when our time comes, what shall we be counted for? We ask that, as my colleague has said, we make this a state funeral in honor of this very great legislator who straddled the floor of this House like a colossus. I submit, Madam Speaker, and wish his soul eternal peace. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
And lastly, I'll give the Honorable Member for Kwanza, Honorable Ferdinand Wanyonyi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On my own behalf, on behalf of the people of Kwanza and my family, I want to take this opportunity to say pole sana for the family of the late Lawrence Sifuna, who we knew was a very good debater in this House, and the people of Bungoma and Western Kenya as a whole respected Lawrence Sifuna because he was a man he spoke his mind and actually represented his people very effectively in this House, and therefore the people of Bungoma and the family, I want to say pole, and with those few words, Madam Speaker, I want to say pole sana, and as requested, we should actually send off the Honorable Lawrence Sifuna through a state function, because he was a very effective member of Parliament, and therefore let's at least have a chance to be able to send the Honorable Lawrence Sifuna as a state person. And thank you so much, Pole sana, for losing our brother Sifuna. Thank you.
Next order. My apologies, honorable members. It has just been brought to my attention that there was in fact a statement by the Honorable Bishop Jackson Kosgei on behalf of KEDIPA. Could you read your statement?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order 43, on behalf of the Kenya Disability Parliamentary Association, KEDIBA, and the Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disability Network, I wish to make a statement on the International Day for Persons with Disability. Honorable Speaker, the 2023 International Day of Persons with Disability was observed on Sunday, 3rd December, the day which was observed under the theme, quote, United in Action to Rescue and Achieve the SDGs for and with by persons with disability, end of quote, is an annual observance of the International Day of Disabled Persons, which was proclaimed in 1992 by the United Nations General Assembly, Resolution 47-3. KDIPA, therefore, joins the rest of the world in observing this very important day. Honorable Speaker, the observance of the day aims to promote an understanding of disability issues and mobilize support for the dignity, rights, and well-being of persons with disability. It also seeks to increase awareness of gains to be derived from the integration of persons with disabilities in every aspect of political, social, economic, and cultural life. In addition, the day seeks to promote the rights, well-being, and the full and equal participation of WDs at every level of the society and development. It also seeks to urge all countries to take action for the inclusion of PWDs in all aspects of life. Honorable Speaker, according to the World Health Organization, over 1.3 billion people, representing approximately 16% of the global population, live with significant disability today. In Kenya, according to the Kenya Population and Housing Census 2019, it is estimated that 2.2% of the population, which is 0.9 million persons, live with some form of disability. Honorable Speaker, as elected members, it is our responsibility to bring the issues affecting persons with disability into this House and our committees with a view to ensuring that they are addressed. Our commitment to the fulfillment of all human rights for persons with disabilities has been strengthened by the widely ratified Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities and by the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I therefore call on all parliamentarians, more so my colleagues in KDIPA, to be disability champions in our respective constituencies. Honorable Speaker, in ensuring the implementation of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, as a House, we have the oversight responsibility through parliamentary committees' inquiries, questions to the executive, as well as scrutiny of the national budget to ensure that they are disability responsive. It is the joint responsibility of KDIPA, which I am privileged to belong to, as well as other members, to make use of these parliamentary tools to ensure that whatever action that needs to be taken or done to ensure the rights of persons with disability are strengthened and is done. Further, Honorable Speaker, we must scrutinize government policies to ensure they are in accordance with the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and use Parliament as a platform to bring the stories of persons with disability into the public eye. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. I make this statement on behalf of the Kenya Disability Parliamentary Association. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Dr. Kosgei. An honorable member for Bumula Honorable Wamboka, I think I'll give you an opportunity.
Honorable Speaker, I want to move that you allow this House to rise for a minute of silence in honor of the late Honorable Member for Bungoma South, Lawrence Sifuna.
Honorable members, let us rise in honor of our departed colleague, the late Honorable Lawrence Simiyu Sifuna. Minute of silence. May the soul of the Honorable Lawrence Simiyu Sifuna rest in peace. Thank you. Next order. Before we go to the next order, allow me to recognize the following delegation from the Kenya National Union of Teachers. Honorable members, I wish to introduce to you a delegation of 16 executives from the Kenya National Union of Teachers. Honorable members, they are on a visit to the National Assembly to pay a courtesy call to the member for Bumula, the Honorable Jack Wamboka MP. On my own behalf and that of the National Assembly, I wish to wish them fruitful engagements. Thank you. No, thank you. Let's move to the next order. You had a point of order? Okay, let's go to your point of order before the next order.
Madam Speaker, I had intended to raise this point of order much earlier, but all the same, I think this is an issue that requires the attention of the whole House. It's an extremely important issue, Madam Speaker, and I seek your guidance. And I know you are for sure able to give guidance on this matter. I have got no doubt whatsoever. Madam Speaker, we are now in the 6th month of the financial year 2023-2024. As we speak, Madam Speaker, since this House appropriated funds to the NGCDF board for disbursement to respective NGCDF committees, not a single cent has hit the accounts, the bank accounts of the NGCDF committees. And NGAF, definitely. Madam Speaker, I rise to seek your guidance in the sense that this House, without necessarily anticipating debate, this House is poised to proceed on a long recess, very long recess, 2 months and above from this Thursday. Yet, Madam Speaker, we know that school children are opening schools in the first week of January. Much more important is that those who start their KCP exams are joining Form 1 in that same period. Madam Speaker, without bursary, which is provided for within the NGCDF framework, and NGAF, more than 3/4 of these children will not go back to school. That is an issue that should capture the attention of the whole nation. It's an issue that is so serious that should warrant this House taking a moment to ponder over it. In fact, it's an issue
that would necessitate this House taking drastic measures. We have not been told yet what is the justification for the National Treasury not releasing the funds which is earmarked for the NGCDF to the NGCDF board. We are not aware. And GAF, of course. When I refer to NGCDF, just understand that I also mean GAF. Because the two go hand in hand. The two are like Siamese twins. Madam Speaker, therefore it behoves us as a House to take action. I want to ask you to compel, first and foremost, the chairperson of the NGCDF committee, my good friend, the Honorable Musa Serma, to compel my good friend, the leader of majority party, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, and to compel the CS National Treasury to come forth and inform the House when are we expecting the disbursements of NGCDF, at least to take care of the bursary component, before we proceed on recess. It's a matter that cannot be dealt with after the recess has started. It's an issue that must be dispensed with now, and be at least before Thursday, Madam Speaker. In fact, if I'm hearing my colleagues well, it's an issue you think must be dealt with now. Now. And therefore, if it must be dealt with now, it would mean, therefore, Madam Speaker, that the House might not transact in any other business. In my view, the House might not be in a position to transact any other business. I think so. The House would be in order to decline to transact any other business. In sympathy, in expressing its sympathy with the thousands of children of poor Kenyans out there, the children of hustlers, Madam Speaker, who are suffering out there, not knowing how they'll go back to school when schools open in January. I want to plead with you, and this is a very serious matter, Madam Speaker, and I will be asking my colleagues, once we have, and I want to also ask you to allow our honorable members to contribute to this issue, and after which then we can go and also chat out there, so that we chat more freely. We chat more freely. Yes, in the corridors. In the corridors. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I think I'll give a chance to Majority Leader and also to the NGCDF Committee Chair. Who do I start with?
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to begin by thanking the leader of minority, the Honorable Pio Wandayi, for raising. Honorable Speaker, there are two very loud consultations from the member for Belgut and the member for Keio North, and they are conversing in a language that is not known. I could only hear Kongoi. Honorable Speaker, now that I have the attention, Honorable Speaker, I was saying, let me first thank the leader of minority for raising this issue, because as the leader of minority says, NGCDF is not a fund for members of parliament. NGCDF money is public money raised from Kenyan taxpayers for the benefit of Kenyan taxpayers. And I must repeat in the words of the leader of minority, in the interest especially of our hustler children who are awaiting for bursaries to be able to access what is a right to them under our constitution. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I cannot agree more with the Leader of Minority that NGCDF is a matter that ought to be treated with special attention. And Honorable Speaker, as much as we all understand we are living in difficult times, part of the alleviation of that, the challenges that are there with the economy, is to ensure that those who are not able to access school in January without, especially those children who just finished KCPE, they are able to access NGCDF bursaries, they are able to access GAF bursaries for them to be able to report to school. True, Honorable Speaker, I know there are also challenges with other emoluments under Parliament, because NGCDF members must also be cognizant that that does not fall under Parliament. It falls under the Ministry of Planning or the State Department of Planning. But there are also other challenges that relate to staff who are working in constituency offices who now fall under Parliament. Honorable Speaker, it would be extremely unfair for members of Parliament to earn their salaries. They have means and ways to enjoy their Christmas break, but the staff who are working in their constituency offices basically have no Christmas. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we have taken this matter up with the National Treasury to deal with the twin issues of money that should be disbursed to Parliament and money that should be disbursed to the State Department for Planning, so that Honorable Speaker, I was waiting for the member for Budalangi to finish with this very loud advisory to the member for Madeira. Now that it is done, I am sure I have his attention. That on NGCDF, we cannot afford to compromise, not for the benefit of members of Parliament. And we must never make it look to the world like members of Parliament have an interest in NGCDF. We only have the interest of the people who sent us here to represent them, not NGCDF. We actually would not care whether there is NGCDF or not if they made sure that bursary money was with the people that we represent. We would not care, because it is our work to resolve issues that are of concern to the people of Kenya and the people that we represent. Therefore, what the Leader of Minority is raising is on behalf of the 290 of us who are charged with the responsibility of resolving issues that are of concern to the people. And there is no issue now that is of greater concern to the people than them getting access to education for their children come January. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I have already engaged with the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the National Treasury and the State Department of Planning and the NGCDF board, the NGCDF CEO. Unfortunately, here the Deputy Whip saying NGAF. I have not engaged with GAF, but since it also falls under the same State Department, they have indicated that they are actually in the process of working on disbursement so that by the time we break, now,
honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, the point is being made.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Members, proceed, Majority Leader.
No, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, the matter is uncontested. Everyone is in agreement. So just allow the Majority Leader to complete his statement.
You know, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, if members can allow me to finish, because as the Speaker has indicated, this matter is not contested by anybody, not even the leader of majority. That is why I took the liberty, even before the matter was raised before the House, because you all forget that I represent the people of Kikuyu, first and foremost. And I have said it numerously. I don't sit here to represent, I don't represent government. Neither do I represent the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury. I don't work for them. I work for the people of Kikuyu. And when it comes to an issue, when it comes to an issue where there is conflict, when an issue comes where there is conflict between a cabinet secretary, a principal secretary, a chair of a board, or even the CDF CEO, and the people of Kikuyu, the people of Kikuyu take greater precedence than anyone else. That is why I'm pleading with you, you allow me to finish, because what was I saying in conclusion? I have already engaged with the Cabinet Secretary, telling the Cabinet Secretary precisely that there is now a situation where there's a conflict of interest between his work as a Cabinet Secretary and the Principal Secretary in charge of the National Treasury, the Director General in charge of Accounting Services, who is in charge of disbursing money, the Principal Secretary in charge of National Planning, the CDF CEO, and the people of Kikuyu. And I indicated to the Cabinet Secretary that by Thursday listen, as the leader of minority said, without anticipating debate. Without doing what? Without anticipating debate. Honorable Speaker, again without anticipating debate, members will note that the House Business Committee had slotted in a morning sitting on Thursday. And I indicated to the Cabinet Secretary that this House cannot proceed to go on recess on Thursday without clarity as to the exact date, time, when the money not will be disbursed, will hit your NGCDF accounts at the constituency level. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, more important, Honorable Speaker, and I beg for members to listen, and it's easier to listen, Honorable Makilap, than shout from behind me. It is easier to lend me your ears and ask the Speaker. That is what happens in the August House. You don't shout from your seat. You request the Speaker to give you the mic and you say what you want to say. More importantly, Honorable Speaker, the NGCDF CEO has indicated to me that and the chair of the NGCDF committee can confirm, we must act with equity so that no constituency is left behind. There are about 36 constituencies whose proposals are yet to be received by the CDF committee. And what we have requested, I was asked to also request the 36 members of parliament whose NGCDF committees. And let me repeat again, for the interest of those who are fond of going to court. It is not the members of parliament for the 36 constituencies. It is the 36 members of parliament to cause, in their oversight role, their NGCDF committees to submit proposals to the board so that they are not left behind. Lastly, I have indicated to the National Treasury and NGCDF that the availability or non-availability of proposals must not hinder disbursement, because what I listened to many members who came to my office from last week is what is bothering many of us, is money especially for bursary. And therefore, we have asked the National Treasury and NGCDF, they know what is provided for in law, the maximum for bursary. With or without the proposal, we must cause them to disburse at least up to that 40% for bursary, so that by the time our children are breaking from their Christmas break, we have processed the bursaries, or rather the NGCDF committees have received applications, processed bursaries, and they are ready to disburse those bursaries before schools open. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary is on his way back to the country, because we were speaking on Monday, yesterday, while he was preparing to get back from COP28. And upon his arrival, I should be able to give a progress report on that particular position, either tomorrow afternoon or latest Thursday morning, before we even consider going for a break. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Just give one more member, then we go to the NGCDF chair. Honorable David Ochieng, member for Ugenya. I've seen you pressed your point of order.
No, thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Without shouting, you did press the intervention button.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, mine is just to agree with the minority leader and the majority leader. I don't think, Madam Speaker, should get to this every year. That this parliament sits, passes a budget, goes ahead to pass a supplementary budget, where Parliament even gets his money is cut, and then now we are proceeding to recess. No one knows when money will be given. No one knows when we'll have this money disbursed. And Mr. Speaker, this is the third year running where we have to beg for CDF money for our children. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think this house is losing its teeth. This house is losing its sheen. This house is not what we used to be. I've been here in my third term now, Madam Speaker, and we've never had to ask the majority leader of this house to talk about CDF. Madam Speaker. And I believe, Madam Speaker, it's because also us as members, we've become weak. We've allowed the executive to do whatever they want to us. We must, as members of Parliament, take our role seriously, especially. There's no day I've seen any committee sending a minister away. If you don't use your teeth, they become blunt. And everyone knows they're now blunt, you cannot do anything with them. And so much as you have pressure on the majority leader, I think it's on us as a body of Parliament. We've allowed the executive to go away with too much. They now think they can get away with anything against us. It must be said this afternoon that, Madam Speaker, if anything happens to our children because they don't have school fees, it will not be because of the executive, it will be because of us as members of Parliament. It is because of us failing to hold the executive to account when we need to. It's because of us hobnobbing with the ministers when they come here, kissing them, treating them like their kids. So I don't mourn for anybody. I mourn for us as a house, that the Honorable Ndai, the Honorable Ichung'wa here, we must be able to, this thing we are doing this afternoon, like bulls. You'd have done this long time ago. Not today, you'd have done this even without it being brought to the floor. So our leadership, I believe, must take their role seriously as concerns the welfare of members and their constituents. And some of these things, Madam Speaker, we know that if we don't do this, we'll keep going. This week, we're going for sports. We don't have enough budget for members to go for sports. Yet we did a budget the other day, we didn't put money for members to travel in there. We are now harassing the clerk to give us money which is not there, because you don't budget rightly. Madam Speaker, I wish to say as I sit down that as members of Parliament, if we stop going to these offices and took our work seriously, we will get these monies on time. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
The chairperson, NGCDF committee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Jared Okello, you
First
cannot
and
help
foremost,
me do my job.
First and foremost,
as long as you continue heckling, you will not get an opportunity. Just press the intervention button. Proceed, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you. First and foremost, Madam Speaker, I want to concur with the sentiments of the majority leader in terms of how we have approached this issue. One, I am a member of Eldama Ravine constituency, representing the people of Eldama Ravine before I became chair of the NGCDF. I want to thank the minority leader for bringing up this issue, because all of us, as a united house, we are able to deliver. But a divided house will not deliver. So I want to ask all of us to bear with us in the next today and tomorrow. The CS will have come and we expect the money. I was with the board, and I can assure you. Yes, I know it is now. You know, I can also say now. You know that. I can also say now, because I have interest. It is for the people of my constituency who are more important than any other thing being in this house in terms of any hierarchy or any position which I hold. Madam Speaker, this issue must be addressed well, and we should not be begging anymore. I want to agree with also Honorable David Ochieng that it is the failure also of us as a house. It is a failure of us as a house that we pass money to the various votes, but when you go to the ground, there is no money, including this is not the only development which is there, apart from CDF, because it touches on every member. Other infrastructural activities which are supposed to deliver to Kenyans have not been addressed. So I want to say this is the first step, that we come in unison and agree that all our children are more important than any other thing from now going forward. So, and I want to ask those 36 constituencies who have not also delivered their proposals to come up with their proposals and deliver it to the NGCDF board. We need approximately 40% of that amount of money to cover bursary alone. So, in other words, with what we call administration and others, we need at least a minimum of 50%, because we passed the first quarter and we are now on the second quarter, which we're supposed to have gotten the money this month. So I think you are right, but let us have it as we have all agreed, that once the CS of Finance arrives, we should be able to get that money. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, honorable members, like I said from the beginning, this is a matter that's uncontested. All members are in agreement. Both the leader of majority and minority are also in agreement. And those other members who have spoken, including the Speaker, and even those members who have spoken, they are all in agreement. I think I like the direction that was initially stated by the leader of majority, which was that before we go on recess, the cabinet secretary, Honorable TJ Kajwang. I have not completed the sentence. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable minority leader, we were just trying to confirm when the cabinet secretary can be here. Consult with the leader of majority when the cabinet secretary can be here, because members are walking out before they hear the answer. What's your point of order, minority leader?
The Honorable Speaker, I rise on a point of order.
Honorable members, you're denying yourself the opportunity of a solid answer. Honorable members, since everybody has spoken, we can move to the next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, approval of a Thursday morning sitting.
You were attempting to respond to the... Would you like us to move to the, since we've already called out the next order? No, let's move to the, let's go to the, okay, honorable members, be calm. I already called out the next order because debate on that other issue has since expired. Let us proceed to our next order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to beg your indulgence to withdraw the procedural motion because of the way it was worded. And Honorable Speaker, we shall be consulting with the House Business Committee members.
To get there. Hold on. He's just withdrawing that particular point of order. Then we'll, procedural motion.
Therefore, Honorable Speaker, with your indulgence, I beg to withdraw the order listed as order number 8 on the procedural motion to a later time, Honorable Speaker.
No, the person who's supposed to have a point of order is Honorable Wandai, not Honorable Mbui. Proceed, Honorable Wandai.
Madam Speaker, I raise a point of order that the House has got no quorum, and therefore the House can't proceed. Yes.
Honorable members, I direct that we ring the bell for 10 minutes. The bell is being rung. You can't have a point of order when the bell is being rung.
Well, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Bose, has directed a quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes. This follows the lack of quorum in the House. This was after the leader of the minority party in the National Assembly, Honorable Opio Wandai, rose on a point of order, informing the Speaker that the House lacks the requisite quorum for the business of the day to continue inside the House. But what transpired before that particular occurrence of lack of order in the House, remember that the House had already begun its business from 2:30 but the issue on the National Government Constituency Development Fund that the leader of the minority party, Honorable Opiyo Wandayi, rose to raise in the House, indicating that the members of the National Assembly, or rather the NGCDF committees, have not received the monies at the constituency level, and the House is expected, or rather set, to proceed on a long recess that will put the constituencies at a limbo, considering the fact that in January the House will not be sitting, and it is a time or a point that most of the schools reopen, and most of the students who come from needy or vulnerable families require the funds commonly referred to as bursaries that usually cater for their school fees or financial ability in that capacity. So it is from that point that the member for the Honorable Member Opiyo Wandayi informed the House that they need to take action as a House to ensure that the monies are disbursed before the House proceeds on recess that is slated to start from 8th of this month, after the last sitting that will be on the Thursday of 7th in the afternoon sitting. And we also saw the leader of the majority party, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah also indicating that the House is in agreement with regards to the monies that need to reach the constituencies before the recess or before January, in order that when the schools reopen, then families who are not able to cater for their children's school fees can be able to benefit from such funds. But in his defense, or rather defending the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and National Planning, as well as the CEO of NGCDF, the Honorable Leader of Majority indicated that he had earlier on engaged the CS Treasury and National Planning and the CEO for the National Government Constituency Development Fund, and that they confirmed that they will be working on that particular issue, and they will be able to avail the money before the House takes its break for the long recess that is on Thursday. In this case, there are 36 constituencies that are said to have not yet submitted their proposals to the NGCDF board, and that they need to do so. However, the majority leader, or rather the majority party majority leader, has indicated that they noted to the NGCDF board that whether there has been availability or non-availability of the proposals, no committee or no constituency should be left out in terms of being given the monies. The member for the chair for the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee, Honorable Musa Sirma, who also took the stand to convince the members that there are engagements that are underway between the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and the CEO of the NGCDF board, that they have agreed to disburse the monies before the recess begins, and also indicating that they need a total of about 40% of the monies that need to cover the bursary, which is said to be the most crucial bit in terms of the NGCDF monies that assists a bigger chunk of the community, especially those from the vulnerable side of the society, or those from the lower part of the pyramid. but members, beginning from all the comments that were being made by the honorable members, the members in the chambers were not agreeing to the commitments that were being made by the honorable member Kimani Ichung'wah, who is the leader of the majority party and the chair of the NGCDF, who was saying that they have engaged the Treasury and National Planning Office, as well as the CEO, as well as the board of the NGCDF, and that they have shown some commitments to have the money disbursed before the recess begins. The members were not agreeing to those commitments that were being made by those leaders, and yet they did not buy the idea that the money will be disbursed before Thursday or before the beginning of the recess, and thereby most of the members walked out of the chambers. The members walked out of the chambers, and basically that is what has happened. The next order was read, but the leader of the minority party, Opiyo Wandayi, rose on a point of order, indicating that there is no quorum for the House to continue with the other business in the order paper for today's afternoon sitting. So basically that is what is happening, but allow me to take you to the other house of the parliament, that is the Senate, for the proceedings, as we await to see how the National Assembly will be taking up this matter.
Manzores Manabaya.
Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I know we were in Turkana County for Senate Mashinani, and I know, Mr. Speaker, they have appreciated what we did for visiting, hosting Senate Mashinani in Turkana County. Turkana County, Mr. Speaker, is a cradle on mankind. All who are seated here, we originated from Turkana. So as we prepare for December festive, remember to go to Turkana to identify yourself there as the cradle of mankind. Mr. Speaker, the honorable MCAs are committed in their legislative agenda. Remember, Mr. Speaker, sir, I also want to inform you that whatever we do, God remembers, records what we say. Mr. Speaker, Turkana is a safe of oil. The cost of living that is high now, I know in 10 years coming, the cost of living will be low. I know, Mr. Speaker, the renewable oil, the renewable energy that we have been praying for. The renewable energy, Mr. Speaker, is rich in Turkana. Solar energy, wind energy, Mr. Speaker, and also the wind. Mr. Speaker, sir, as we suffer this time, I know 10 years coming, God will return to Turkana County, and the Turkana County will improve the economy of Kenya. We will stop being supplied with yellow maize. God will remember us, Mr. Speaker, that one time thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want us to say, as I finish, Turkana County is a first county, and it is 77,000 kilometers square. Madam Speaker, the members, honorable members who are here, I have a lot of respect for them because they changed my position. They changed my title. I was an MCA. They changed that one to be a member of a National Assembly. They changed that one again. Madam Speaker, they gave me another title, new title now, that called a Senate. And I know, Madam Speaker,
Senator Matthew must allow the senator to continue with the journey and express the dream he has on what the people will make him.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. What I wanted to say, that the honorable members who have visited us, I want to thank them. Secondly, I want to give them encouragement that the word say, everything in this world changes. Even the truth changes one time. Yes, truth will change one time. And false will also change one time. So what I say, they will never remain the same. After 5 years, they will have different titles. They will be in several levels, not the levels they have now. So what I say, Madam Speaker, I seek for support. Madam Speaker.
Please wind up.
Thank you. What I say, Madam Speaker, it is important to learn from the Senate. This is the upper house. So I want to say, to talk to my honorable members who are in the house, that as you visit this house, learn more, and then I go back home, you teach the other people what you are supposed to say. Madam Speaker.
Senators, can we consult in low tones?
Madam Speaker, as I finish,
Senator Boni and Senator Enoch, you're about to be ruled to be out of order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You cannot consult like that in the House.
Madam Speaker, I finish. As we go for recess on 7th, I want this House to remember this. Northern Kenya, especially Turkana County, is very insecure. People are dying almost every week. People lose life. So what I wanted to say, as we go for recess, the government of Kenya must remember that the bandits...
Hold it, Senator Lomenen. What is your point of order, Senator Kenywa?
Madam Speaker, I heard the good Senator Lemonen from Turkana saying that the truth changes. And he quoted a certain book. And I don't know what book is that, because, Madam Speaker, what I know, the truth does not change. Even if you bury, it will come out as truth, Madam Speaker. So I don't know which book he quoted. I would want that book so that I can refer to that book. And what he's saying about banditry, that I support him 100%, because we go through that in Laikipia. I support him. But on the truth, Madam Speaker, let him clarify.
Yes.
Madam Speaker.
Senator Romenen, which book are you quoting?
I did not quote any book, Madam Speaker.
Senator Kenywa, can you be more attentive when the senator
Yes, exactly.
is
I just
debating?
No. I said, Madam
Has
Speaker.
clarified he did not quote a book.
I said, Madam Speaker, this world is dynamic.
Proceed.
This world is dynamic. And I say, Madam Speaker, everything that we do in this world is recorded somewhere. And one time it will be retrieved. I said also, Madam Speaker, that we will be going for recess. And what I request the government and this Senate, our people in Northern are suffering, and the bandits are not aware of the recess, and they will never go for recess. When you go for recess, they will be killing our people, they will be taking our property. So let the government be aware that as we go for recess, the bandits, the terrorism, the Al-Shabaab are not going for recess. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Romenen, you should not speak with such confidence that when you go for recess, the bandits will be killing the people, unless you have proof to that effect. Senator Betty, you have a statement? Cherarige? Oh, Senator Cherarige, before Senator Betty. Senator Betty, resume your seat for a minute. Senator Cherarige was to welcome the delegates from Nandi County.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, I want to join you and on behalf of the Senate to welcome the Kenya National Union of Teachers, Nandi branch, to this August House. And I know all of them by name and where they come from, Nandi, basically. I'm happy they have come where they need support. Madam Speaker, I join in welcoming them and wish them well as they do what they have to do. They are also working. I'm happy and I want to congratulate them. I'm told they have gotten a new first vice chair. Unfortunately, we lost one in Kericho who used to represent them at the Kenya National Union of Teachers. Madam Speaker, quickly on one or two issues that I want to mention is that the issue of JSS interns. As we talk, we had the CEO of TAC, and Madam Nandi Masharia, Madam Speaker, was grappling because we asked her what will happen with the interns at the expiry of 31st. And yet we want those interns that are on contract teachers must be observed immediately under permanent and pensionable PNP, Madam Speaker. So we don't need, and I think as Parliament, we have appropriated enough resources to TAC to ensure JSS interns and teachers on contracts, Madam Speaker, are also being able to be given opportunity to be on permanent pensionable.
Senator Cherarige, can you
Secondly,
confine your comments to welcoming the delegation?
Madam Speaker, you didn't guide Senator Lomenen. It is still within the purview, and these are teachers. Number two, Madam Speaker, because I mentioned they are teachers and they are lucky. Madam Speaker, number two, Madam Speaker, number two is on the issue of presidential working party reforms. Madam Speaker, I want to call upon the NATS, Kenya National Union of Teachers, to be part of the conversation, Madam Speaker, especially on the issue of presidential working education reforms.
Senator Miraj,
I know as we talk, Madam
Gloria,
Speaker,
please do not turn this into
I
a
think
market.
as we talk about is the issue of CBC, Madam
Resume your
Speaker,
seats.
Kenya National Union of Teachers have a critical role to play. Article
See, point
41,
of
Madam
order,
Speaker.
Senator Faki.
Madam Speaker, but it's not on record. It's not unanswered. To speak.
Clerk. Ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
The Senate is currently on a quorum bell. This quorum bell was necessitated by the fact that the House at some point after the commencement of business lacked quorum, and the Speaker directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes for members of the Senate to make their way back into the chamber to allow for consideration of further business before the Senate this afternoon. On your screens is the Senate proceedings, and we await to see if senators will be making their way into the chamber this afternoon, and if indeed that pertinent quorum will be reached and attained for that matter. And if not, we are going to await further directives by the Speaker. Currently, Senator Veronica Maina is the Speaker presiding over the business of the Senate this afternoon, and to just take you through some of the issues for consideration by senators this afternoon is the Tea Amendment Bill, as well as the Equalization Fund Appropriations Bill and the County Licensing Uniform Procedure Bill, Senate Bills number 9 of the year 2022. Various senators were speaking to the motion on the declaration of cattle rustling as a national disaster and establishment of a special fund for victims. This is a motion spearheaded by the Senator for Baringo County, Senator William Cheptumo, and senators were calling for the address of this particular issue, claiming it has become very rampant in the northern parts of the country, as well as among pastoralist communities in various regions in the country. This afternoon session of the Senate was for the better part of the first hour dominated by the condolence messages for a former late member of parliament, and senators have been, so to speak, sending their condolences to the family of the late Sifuna, known Lawrence Sifuna, who happens to be the uncle for the Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna. Given key priority in the Senate business this afternoon, the chair is speaking. Allow me to hand you over.
Having rang the bell pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 42, the Senate stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 6th December 2023 at 9:30 a.m.
Speaker Veronica Maina, currently who was just about a minute ago presiding over the business of the Senate, has ordered that the Senate sittings be adjourned until next time when the Senate will be sitting, that is tomorrow morning, owing to the fact that the House has lacked the numbers to proceed with business this afternoon. Remember, the notification of a lack of quorum was done by the Senator from Mombasa County, Senator Mohamed Faki, who notified the House that at the time the Senate did not have the requisite number of senators to continue with business. That is the latest from the proceedings of the National Assembly as well as the Senate this afternoon. Allow me to hand you over back to our broadcasting house for the normal programming. Enjoy your viewing.
The stage is set for a showcase of young talents as Kenya hosts the CECAFA Under-18 Championship from the 25th of November to 8th of December in Kisumu and Kakamega. Kenya, Sudan, Rwanda, Somalia, Zanzibar, South Sudan and Uganda are battling for the title in the two-week tournament. The group phase matches are scheduled 25th of November to 1st of December. Then the semi-finals will be played on 5th of December and the final on 8th of December, all in Kisumu. Catch the matches live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Music can be magical. It's the soul for life and gives immense peace to us. It has a powerful therapeutic effect on the human psyche. Whether secular or gospel. There's a song for everyone, every occasion, and every emotion. God bless you. KBC brings you children's programs at its very best. From preschoolers to the teens, featuring the very best of untapped talents, showcasing arts and crafts, music and poetry. We bring you the latest animations and teach the children how to do it.
Can you read the word with Happy Hippo?
Join us every Saturday from 7 a.m. and weekdays in the late afternoons as we bring you entertaining children programming on KBC Channel 1.
I am. Santans
the commercial hub of South Africa, a lively neighborhood famous for its business sector, hotels, and of course the shopping centers. And now, adding a bit of creativity in this thriving hotspot is Artistry, a venue that positions itself as an imaginative cultural platform. But first, we learn about the beautiful art form of Imigongo in Rwanda. Find out more about the 18th Venice Architectural Biennale from Leslie Logo. Then we chat to Ofense Pite, the first black female conductor to own an orchestra while balancing life as an architect. I'm Pamela Mtanga, and you're watching AfriMax. Ifedoyin Shotunde, a multidisciplinary visual artist who expresses his design philosophy through Amu Studios, which explores the themes of oddity in spaces and objects. Enjoy.
Ifedoyin Shotunde's designs do challenge conventional norms by purpose.
The studio is known for making like this relatively odd designs that you don't see every day, especially around here. Relatively odd but modern, right? So kind of make more minimalist forms or designs of these retro objects kind of thing.
It all started with a missing chair, and the keke chair remains Ifedoyin's trademark to date. The piece is made to order, each time new, and is truly unique.
I had just made a table for myself that I was quite excited about at the time, and I needed a seat or a chair to go with it, right? And my first thought was to go for a swivel chair, right? That's typical office chair, and I'm man, I don't want that in my space, and I don't think that would be a nice match for this table, which I'm very excited about. And then I just designed, and I don't know what I saw. I can't remember exactly, but I'm okay, let me make a seat inspired by the shape of a bicycle saddle. It's made out of mahogany wood. That's hardwood, so it's a very, very strong form. The joints are very firmly done too, very well done. This is the second piece ever made. And also it's designed to look nice, like a sculpture, right? So it kind of has a sculptural vibe, but also not just look nice, also look kind of odd, right? But also comfortable.
Ifedoyin's work straddles between art and design. With some influence of minimalism, he also incorporates a lot of oddity in his creations, making him a nonconformist when it comes to design.
To an extent, as an artist or as someone that creates stuff, being able to dictate what people could or could be interested in, as opposed to them actually saying, yo, this is what I want you to do. Do you get? So that's why to a great extent I'm very specific about my work, or even how I approach my work, because I don't approach it from a POV of I'm trying to fit into people's perception of me or of what an artist should be. So just that deviance for me is a very strong driving force.
After having studied architecture and environmental design at the University of Lagos, Ifedoyin founded Amo Studio in 2019 with the goal of exploring the design and execution of spaces and objects that embrace oddity. His love for the odd in art began early at a young age.
Growing up as a kid, I used to be into odd cartoons and stuff like that for whatever reasons. I can't exactly say why, but it's just stuff that I was drawn to. When I decided I wanted to become an artist, I decided that I was just going to do me, basically, and I wasn't going to do stuff just based off what people expect to see.
Ife started his career as a painter and drawing sketches. In 2019, he founded Amo Studio, which focuses mostly on creating odd furniture pieces and mini sculptures from clay.
So these are made from clay. They are made from clay and they are fired. So when you fire them, basically it makes them feel more like, makes them more solid and makes them feel more like ceramics.
His clay sculptures show Ife's expression as a multi-medium artist and his emphasis on oddity, which exhibits his imaginative creativity. Artistic inspiration is not about playing safe, but creating fresh ideas that draw attention and pushing boundaries.
In and amongst this business hub, a popular entertainer and businessman, Jay Something is adding a bit of culture into the city with Artistry, a venue that is passionate about curating bespoke experiences, showcasing the best in cinematic, musical, and theatrical art. Jay, lovely to have you on AfriMax.
You make me sound so cool, man.
You are, because you are.
Thank you.
Now tell me, you are the lead singer in Mikasa and an entrepreneur in your own right. Why did you choose this particular venture?
You know, Artistry is it's a cultural platform. You know, the idea behind it was to create a platform that we could celebrate, that we could showcase, that we could preserve people's stories. So this place is here to celebrate the arts and to bring people together as a community.
Well, that's incredible. And which leads me to my next question. Why did you merge, in particular, cinematic, theatrical, musical, and culinary arts?
As you dive into the industry, you see so many other young artists that have these massive dreams. And I think that was the inspiration, was about how do we create a platform that can be a platform from where you can come with your art and get an opportunity to showcase it in a very unique way. Obviously, from a corporate perspective, you know, it also allows itself, the venue allows itself to create a cool experience where people can host their own workshops, meetings within the space.
What made you move into the culinary scene?
I'm actually just an entrepreneur, and I think one of the things that makes life interesting for me is the curiosity around our capabilities, you know.
And you know what? I know you are passionate about food when I actually watch your stories with your family, when you actually come up with recipes on the spot. I love that. You know what? We're going to catch up a little bit later on, and I want to experience the space a bit more.
Be at home.
Imigongo is traditional Rwandan art featuring vibrant geometric patterns painted on wooden boards using natural pigment and cow dung.
Yes, this is it. Did you know that cow dung can be turned into beautiful and meaningful works of art? That's exactly what the Rwandese do with the art of imigongo.
I started by selling imigongo by sourcing them from women who are making them in Nyarubuye, then bringing them here to Kigali. I then got this idea that I can start handcrafting them as well. In 2013, I joined cooperative of Kirehe that makes imigongo.
Imigongo is an ancient Rwandese art form that has its origins in the eastern part of Rwanda. These exquisite geometric designs are a signature feature in Rwandese art. And while it may not look like it in the end, they start out as a rather unusual raw material, cow dung.
When you're making the imigongo, you take the ash and pass it through a filter to remove the impurities. After that, the ash is then mixed with the cow dung.
Back in the workshop, the cow dung begins its transformation from waste product into art.
I have just mixed cow dung with ash so that the smell of dung is removed. When you're mixing dung with the ash, it becomes sticky. So when I stick it on the piece of board, it adheres well. The next step is to think about the design. I will create the design on the piece of board, sketch it, then start creating. I will put my ruler here and draw a line. Every time you make a design, always make sure that the piece of board that you will use to create your design, the design will have to be centered so that no side is oversized or undersized. Next, you will draw 2 lines that mimic the design of the house top that we saw earlier. So, right now, I can start applying the cow dung that I've been preparing. You have to put pressure on it to ensure that when the sun shines, it's not going to fall off. After that, you make sure that you have wet your fingers so that you can smoothen the dung with the moisture of the hands.
Geometric patterns such as zigzags, spirals, or squares are synonymous with imigongo and hold cultural significance. Some patterns represent prosperity, fertility, protection, or gratitude. Others may depict historical events of the Rwandese heritage.
Imigongo is an invention that was made by the son of the king of the eastern region called Kimenyi. He wanted to improve the interior of his father's house. So he did this using cow dung and ash. He went inside the house and started to draw and make different designs. After that, he started exploring on how he can use colors. He used that called ingwa or ingugu that were used at the time to finish the interior. In order to apply the white color and for painting the red color, he used umujina. And for painting the black color, he found a tree called rubamba. He cut it down and mixed it up with cow urine. The colors used in Kinyarwanda in Imigongo had meaning. For example, the color white characterized someone who is loyal.
Like many traditional art pieces in Rwanda, the finished imigongo pieces are made by a group of artisans organized into cooperatives. Their art is a welcome source of livelihood for them and their families. The ageless art of imigongo has morphed over a few hundred years, from adorning the huts of the past to the striking interior decor pieces they are today. Nevertheless, they continue to center the sacred symbolism of the cow, considered a central part of Rwandese culture and life.
After seeing that art form, it is a definite must-have. Now, Jay, as a performing artist yourself, where would you say African music is right now in terms of influencing international cultures and trends?
We're at a point where not only are people taking notice a lot more of what is ours, but I think we are also in a space where we are feeling so proud and so confident in what is ours so that we're showcasing it more.
I have come to know you as a person who's interested in the culinary space as well. Initially music, but now culinary space. You've gone to have a cookbook yourself, been on various TV shows. How did that experience or journey influence how you curated the restaurant part of this venue?
At the heart of everything, even within the music, I'm just a curious person that's trying to explore the things that I love. So a lot of what you eat here, specifically at the restaurant, is from my house. It's a lot of the stuff that my wife and I dig doing, and then we bring it here to our team and we kind of creatively conceptualize everything and then try.
Apparently, you have an interesting story of how you found your chefs.
Yeah, well, a lot of my team, I would say like nearly 90% of my kitchen comes from my Instagram. You know, these are people that have been following what I've been doing, that are, I guess to an extent, if I may say, inspired by what I'm doing.
We know you as a musician, so it wouldn't be right to end this
without having a little something from you. I'm going to be your backup dancer.
Backup dancer? Get away, get away, get away. It's all I wanna do. A little getaway with you. Oh, baby.
Jay, thank you so much for your time.
Man.
This is such an incredible space.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me your time. You know, I always say that time is our most precious resource, so it's to
And
your
we say
peeps.
cheers.
Cheers, and
Ciao.
welcome to Artistry.
The 18th Venice Architecture Biennale addressed building in times of climate change and was curated by Ghanaian-Scottish architect Leslie Loko, who transformed it into an architectural future laboratory, advocating for radical rethinking.
The curator of the 18th Architecture Biennale in Venice, Leslie Loko, has set the stage for African architecture at this year's event.
So for me, Africa has always been the place of the future. It's always been the testing ground for the future in a way. And again, it comes back to the point that we're simultaneously the world's youngest continent and the world's oldest continent. You know, everybody on this planet came from Africa at one point. So we have this quite complex relationship both to the past and to the future.
Over half the participants are from Africa and the African diaspora. They're challenging what is traditionally considered a European event. It's also exposing exclusivism and structural racism. With no explanations, the right-wing Italian government denied entry visas to 3 Ghanaian curators who were invited to participate in the Biennale.
Not all teams are equal. To the team based in Accra who were denied visas to attend an exhibition to which they have contributed their time, ideas, work and labour, for almost the first time in my life, words fail me.
Leslie Loko was born in Dundee and grew up in both Ghana and Scotland. She still divides her time between Ghana and Europe. Both cultures influence her work and views. 20 years ago, she designed her residence in Accra, made partly with clay bricks. Even then, it was ahead of its time.
Depending really on the way you live, you have to a lesser or greater extent control over your environment. And I think the trick for many kind of modernizing African cities is how to adapt a way of life, a way of working, a way of living that was really designed for a different kind of climate for this one.
Leslie Loko believes Africa can achieve this. The continent suffers from instability, but it's also undergoing rapid change, perhaps because the effects of climate change have forced people to react. Mariam Issoufou Kamara is chairwoman for Architecture, Heritage and Sustainability at the ETH Zurich University in Switzerland. Coming from Niger, she is acutely aware of the importance of tradition for the future of building.
In a country where it's 45 degrees Celsius, when you build in cement, it's 50 degrees inside of that building, versus if I use earth, which is abundantly available, so cheaper, number one. Number two, it means that inside, when it's 45 degrees outside, it's 35. That's just common sense.
Established names like the Burkinabe German star architect Diabedo Francis Kéré have led the way. The Pritzker Architecture Prize laureate works on projects around the world, but mostly in Africa, where he empowers communities, always using local resources. For him, the challenge lies in the ability to adapt.
As an architect, I think it's great because I see it as an opportunity to create something different.
The Biennale of Architecture is the creative hub for new ideas and approaches. Before being appointed curator of the 18th Venice Biennale of Architecture in 2021, Leslie Loko had just co-founded the African Futures Institute in Accra. These two are closely linked in terms of values and ideas based on providing for the community.
Even though it's headquartered in Ghana at the moment, the idea is that it will spread, that there will be institutes across the continent. I'm interested in architecture as a real engine for society and in training people who can think about society and culture and the environment in really interesting ways.
Leslie Loco is not only an architect, but also a worldwide best-selling author. For her, writing and designing a building are not separate callings.
Being an architect shaped me as a writer. Somehow a biennale is the perfect bringing together of two worlds. Growing up in Ghana, my first window onto the rest of the world was through books.
While Leslie Loco may not have the time to plan buildings herself anymore, her views on architecture, emphasising the African perspective, are exemplary. Her position at the Venice Biennale has enabled her to challenge traditional Western architectural views on how to build sustainably in the future.
Leslie Loco challenges the dominant Western perspective in architecture, aiming to shape the future by incorporating the innovation and agility of the African continent. Ofense Pizze, an architect from Johannesburg, is a trailblazer. Not only is she the first Black woman to own a classical orchestra and choir, she is the youngest person to achieve this remarkable feat.
Ofense Pizze is a trailblazing South African woman who is orchestrating her way to great success, crowned by a composition fit for a queen.
My career highlight so far has been working with a global orchestra, female players, and then we're doing a reimagination of Alicia Keys' If I Ain't Got You for a big Netflix global program, which is Queen Charlotte. So, I mean, it was important because, again, Queen Charlotte, and again, the first Black queen. So it was very important for me to do not only musically, but as a form of just reminding women of who we are, which is we're all queens.
And not only is Ofense the first Black woman to conduct and own a classical orchestra and choir, she's also the youngest person to do it.
And I started learning how to play the trumpet when I was 12 years old. And then that just evolved in my love for orchestra, choirs. And then the evolution of that is me subsequently wanting to start my own choir and then just putting some musicians together. And then one day I just had a 19-piece orchestra that I had to learn how to conduct. My journey began as a young girl growing up in Mabopane, and then I was always taken to church. So my mom would take me to all these church meetings that she would have, and then I just wanted to be one of the boys because growing up in the Salvation Army, you see a lot of brass bands and all that. So one day I just saw a bunch of musicians, and then that's when it hit me. I was like, okay, there has to be someone who's going to conduct this. But I never seen anyone who looks like me. So I was like, okay, if it's just me who's going to do this, then I have to learn how to do it very well.
Les tailler, c'est les approprier. Comme vous, nous aussi devenons éternels.
I mean, I would DM a lot of conductors that I was following at the time, right? So this is like Facebook, Instagram, most of which said no to me, and some did not even respond, right? So it was Gerben Grooten, who is the head of the UP Philharmonic Orchestra, and he's also one of the best conductors in Africa. So I just reached out to him and was like, listen, this is who I am, this is my story. Can you please teach me how you do this thing? And then I met him one day, and then he has taught me everything that I know. So I have a very great conducting mentor who has taught me everything that I need to know.
A lot of choirs that we have here in South Africa is just it's called a hobby, and for some of us it's really difficult because we've studied opera. So if I get into a choir, they don't pay. So Enka Sound really opened doors for us because we get paid very well.
Kona anapata Kenya. Saifa Sowor nguvu mpya. Anamuweka kwenye shinikizo mlinda mlango Anthony Mpemba. Lilikuwa shuti ambalo halina nguvu sana, lakini lilikuwa na ghadhabu.
Nguvu mpya kijana wa Mofa Akademia ya nahodha wa senior Harambee Stars Michael Engineer Lunga akaweka chini kwa chini kijana Sifa Sowor. Mwisho wa siku mlinda mlango Anthony Mpemba kaipangua ngoma ile, inakuwa ni kona, labda itakuwa na matunda kwa Kenya. Mashabiki wanasubiria,
na zaidi ya kusubiria kona, hawa wote wanasubiria goli la kwanza. Litakuwa muhimu kabisa, maana pia utamu wa njugu ni ule moja moja
kweli,
lakini wenyewe wanakuambia kwamba lile la kwanza likichelewa ndio bora zaidi. Limefikisha dakika 108, goli halijapatikana,
na likipatikana hapa litakuwa goli muhimu kabisa kwa atakayefunga wa kwanza.
Bado yuko chini linda mlango Anthony Mpemba, yupo hapa CEO Barry Otieno na makamu wa rais wa FKF Muite Doris Petra. Hawa ni mashabiki ambao wana imani na soka la Kenya kwa siku zijazo. Imani yao iko ndani ya shirikisho na imani yao iko ndani ya ofisi ya Waziri Ababu na Mwamba, Wizara ya Michezo. Wengi wanataka mabadiliko yafanyike. Litakuwa ni badiliko la 6 wanaliomba kwa Junior Stars.
Wale hapa ilikuwa nafasi kuntu kabisa, akaweka chini kwa chini kabisa Sifa Sowor, kijana ambaye labda angeidokoa ile ngome ya Tanzania bara na kupenyeza ngoma ile kaingia na ikampita Mpemba, lakini mwisho wa siku akaipangua akaiweka nje. Hadi dakika hii ya 109 ngoma ikakwenda muda wa ziada 0-0 Kenya Tanzania. Mashabiki wanasubiria, wamekaa wametulia tuli kabisa, Mpemba akiwa anapanga ngome yake kwa uzuri kwa faida ya kona ya Kenya.
Kwenye bench yupo Bruno kama mlinda mlango wa akiba kwa upande wa Tanzania. Haya, kila mmoja hapa anajua kwamba haina haja. Namna gani hapa mchezaji Said, namna gani Said Solomon Okwera Lino anawaambia tokeni hapa. Humphrey Aroko pale, hamna cha Kiingereza, ni Kiswahili tu. Hamna cha Kiingereza pale, ni Kiswahili tu. Sasa wa Kenya waanze kuongea Kiingereza.
Fanya badiliko hapa Tanzania. Angalia, hili ndio tukio, akihusika Humphrey Aroko, mhusika mkuu. Amemfanyia madhambi hapa Said kwa kichwa tu mbele ya macho yake Solomon Okwera Lokudo kutoka Sudani Kusini, lakini haikuwa nzito sana kwenda chini. Ameyari kunyanyuka hapa akinyanyuliwa na Hija Lida, na wakati huo wamefanya geuzi, anaingia Abdul Bakari,
nafasi yake Omar Yahya. Bado ni mpira wa kona. Kenya ndio ambao wanafaa kuweza kuchanja kona. Hapa ni pressure zaidi ya pressure. Saidi Bakari njoo hapa, ama Saidi njoo hapa. Humphrey Aroko njoo hapa. Stanley Omondi anasema mkimaliza huko mimi niambieni tu, nipige hii kona ya kuzalisha bao na tusilaumiane. Stanley analeta kule, wapi kichwa kinalia. Bado anakataa Tanzania bara. Anakuja Tyron Otieno, anaiangalia Amos. Tyron anachungulia, wanakataa Tanzania. Hijalida amecheza vizuri sana Hijalida siku ya leo, zaidi ya michezo mitatu iliyopita ya makundi.
Kweli leo muonesho fundi wake, na leo ndiye amejitangaza zaidi, akijua fika kwamba mawakala waliofika hapa Stadio de Jomo Kenyatta wanaweza kumuona na labda mstakabali wa maisha yake ya kandanda kwa kuwa ndo mwanga unawaka.
Ibrahim Wanzala wanakuja sasa huko ni Tanzania bara. Baron anagusa mpira. Benjamin Ibrahim alikuwa anataka rushe yeye. Sifa Sowor wanapoteza dira Kenya. Bado hatuja makinikana sana hapa pande zote mbili. Tyron leo si yeye, miguu imechoka, mwili unataka lakini akili inataka, lakini miguu yake inamsaliti. Anaingia sasa Zidane Sereri Zidane. Hijalida anachiwa, anawekwa mtu chini, mwamuzi anapima nini? Ikabu hapa kama kama ni kadi ya njano kwa Baron. Yupo chini Benjamin Ramadhan. Baron Ochieng anasema mimi nimeupata mpira. Mimi nimeupata mpira. Baron Ochieng anajitetea namna hiyo, lakini tayari ashatafsiri tofauti. Solomon Okweralino
amefanya tafsiri tofauti kabisa. Naangalia hili ndio tukio ambalo walikuwa wameingia katika maeneo ya Kenya. Benjamin Ramadhani nguvu mpya, lakini akakutana na kiseki Baron Ochieng. Mwisho wa siku amuzi wa katikati ya para Solomon Okwera alikuja kutoka Sudani Kusini, akasema na wahukumiwe Kenya.
Sehemu nzuri sana kwa Tanzania Makori. Na hapa kuna kadi ya njano iko kwenye mikono ya mwamuzi. Kuna kadi ya njano nadhani hapa ametoa mwamuzi, sijui kama ni ya Baron, sijui alivyotoa kaonyesha nani, maana kama ni Baron ina maana kwamba anasindikizwa na kadi nyekundu. Tutakuwa tunafahamu nani kalambishwa kadi ya njano, maana alikuwa ashatoa mwamuzi na akarudisha mfukoni. Fahamisha ni Ibrahim Wanzala. Ibrahim Wanzala ambaye ameonyeshwa kadi hiyo ya njano. Itakuwa ni kadi ya njano ya pili. Kenya wanapata Baron Ochieng na Ibrahim Wanzala chini ya dakika 6 kati ya zile 15 za pili. Sharif Wilson anaubusu mpira kana kwamba anaubariki ule mpira. Ukuta wa wachezaji watano unatengenezwa. Alimdungua kipa wa Uganda. Sharif Wilson yupo Hijalida. Sharif Wilson. Shabiki wanashangilia kama goli limeingia, lakini ni kana kwamba wanambeza hapa. Sharif Wilson kwa kupiga ikabu na ikaenda juu, kitu ambacho kinamweka kwenye shinikizo vile mwalimu, lakini Amos Anjala anaambiwa kuwa makini vile vile. Sharif Baron anabadilisha mitabendi, anaikanyaga vizuri kabisa. Saifas Owor analeta krosi, inakosa mtu wa kuweza kuiunganisha. Saifas Owor
alikuwa nayo malengo mazuri kabisa, akajaribu kuleta dude safi, lakini hamna mtu ambaye amekuwa pale kuunganisha, na huyo ni Humphrey Aroko. Na magoli mawili hadi sasa, moja kati ya wachezaji tegemeo kabisa wa Kenya hadi dakika 115, bado 0-0. Joseph Simba wa Shabana FC anasema hapa inazidi kwa mlima juu ya mlima kwelikweli. Gusa naye anasema shughuli safi, lakini hapa mlima unazidi kwa zaidi ya kukwea.
Huu sasa sijui ni mlima Kilimanjaro ama ni mlima Kenya ambao unakuwa na ugumu wa kuweza kuukwea.
Taiunganishe milima yote miwili.
Tyron Kariuki kwa kweli hajawa na mchezo mzuri kizi 30. Safety first kwa Lamek. Mashabiki wanaomba pelekeni timu mbele hivyo. Twendeni tupeleke mashambulizi. Baron rusha ndani. Baron anakuwa mdogo wa Enoch Agwanda. Baron Ochieng kwenye kijisanduku, wanapoteza, wanakataa, inaanzwa. Baron atawajibikia tena mpira wa kurusha, anairusha ndefu tena kwake Duncan Oluoch. Aroko yuko wapi? Anakata Ismail Ali anacheza vizuri. Joseph Onyango. Ibrahim Wanzala. Dakika 3 ndizo ambazo zinatenganisha mchezo huu na mikwaju ya penalti. Dakika 3 zinatenganisha timu zote mbili na mikwaju mitano ya penalti, au ikiwezekana hata 10 au hata 20 ikiwezekana, kama hamfungani mpige mpaka mchoke.
Lake pia kuna mwenye anataka kukubali kufungwa ndani ya masalio ya dakika 3, maana anajua fika kwamba akijaribu kutoboka tu
anawekwa chini. Mchezaji wa Kenya wanaingia hatari kwenye mlango kule, lakini wapi, anakata mkazo nafasi. Nidhamu ya ulinzi ni hali ya juu kwa vijana wa Tanzania. Amos Wanjala Amos, lakini ngoma anachelewa kuweza kuianzisha. Wana kata Tanzania. Nahodha huyu Amos Wanjala anazidi kujituma zaidi. Collins anakataa. Ismail Ali. Zidane Sereri anaambiwa usije sana. Ibrahim Wanzala anaianza vizuri kulia kwa Baron Ochieng. Baron anasema mimi kazi yangu ni kuwaletea uko mbele tu, mtajua wenyewe. Duncan Oluoch anachelewa, anateleza. Ismail Duncan Oluoch anachelewa tena, anakuja mzima sasa. Abdul Karim Kiswanya anaipiga ndefu. Joseph Onyango ndiye ambaye anaiwahi. Joseph Onyango. Kenya sasa mali yao. Kisa Joseph anaangalia weke wapi mbele, huko pasi inakuwa na upofu. Kenya wanaambiwa mnaweza mkajaribu tena, wanapeleka sasa. Aroko anakataa katakata hapa. Hijarida Afri Aroko mpaka sasa majivunia magoli yake mawili. Baron Ochieng anasema ingieni kwenye kijisanduku, ingieni kwenye kijisanduku, na ileta hapo. Kipa anasumbuliwa na juu ambalo linawaka, inaletwa huku, panda juu kwa juu, kichwa kinalia, piga ndakani hapa. Joseph Kisa chini kwa chini, ngome na kataa. Anachukua tena sasa. Tanzania inapaishwa juu kwa juu, huku anaambiwa tulia. Goalkeeper Ibrahim Wanzala anaianza haraka. Tunahesabu sekunde chini ya 15 zifike 120. Anachelewa Collins kufika kwenye karamu. Sekunde zinatenganisha mchezo huu na matuta ya penalti. Joseph Onyango. Baron Ochieng, yeye kazi yake ni kusukuma mbele tu, anakataa. Elias Lamek. Kenya wanarusha 120 zetu zinakatika, mbili zinaongezwa. Mashabiki wanaubariki mpira kule nje, lakini sio ambao unaingia uwanjani.
Ule ni ule ambao ulitoka nje.
Wanafanya masiara. Amos Wanjala huko. Zidane Sereri. Zidane. Dakika mbili zimeongezwa mtazamaji. Zidane Sereri anakataa. Wanjala. Stanley Omondi. Kenya wanaitanguliza sasa pembezoni kushoto, anaitwa kwenye karamu huku, lakini anachelewa kufika. Taifa Sowor. Vita kila mmoja amevipiga. Faris Mkude, Taifa Sowor, kila mmoja amevipiga vita. Tazame Faris Mkude, pumzi ni za juu hapa. Pumzi ni za juu hapa. Yoshua
kweli, mbali na kupiga vita, pia imani wameilinda hadi inakwenda dakika 120 ikiongezwa 2-0. Kila ishara inaonyesha na kwenda matuta.
Tyron Kariuki kwa kweli miguu inakataa. Napigwa ndefu, 2 za nyongeza ni sekunde tunahesabu. Ibrahim Wanzala anasema afadhali uko mbele. Tanzania bara wako imara. Said Abdul Karim Kiswanya anaulizwa uko wapi. Benjamin Ramadhan. Elias Lamek anakataa. Joseph Onyango. Tairo, kwa kweli akili inataka kuufikia mpira, lakini mwili unamponza, mwili unakataa.
Manaka angalia, hawa ni Makenda, umri wao hujapita miaka 18, wamekimbia dakika 120, pia wanachoka.
Tyron Kariuki. Stanley Omondi jaribu kupiga chenga, anawekwa chini, ananyanyuka, wanaingia Tanzania bara, anakwatua mtu, mwamuzi anasema cheza, anauwahi mpira. Tyron Kariuki na Kenya wakijaribu kushambulia, mwamuzi Solomon Okwera Lino anasema tulianza 1, tukahesabu mpaka 90, tukahesabu 100, sasa zinatimia 120. Anamwambia Maulana alhamdulillah. Abdul Bakari anamwambia Mungu asante. Dakika 120 zinachezwa kwenye uwanja wa Stadio de Jomo Kenyatta hapa Kisumu. Kenya 0, Tanzania 0.
Wamechoka kweli kweli. Nahodha Amos Wanjala mchezaji wake hapa. Baron Ochieng wamechoka kabisa. Sasa inakwenda mikwaju ya matuta ndio itakuwa inaamua mshindi hapa. Amechoka kabisa Ibrahim Wanzala, amechoka Anthony Mpemba. Dakika 120, nusu fainali ya pili ya kuwania kombe la CECAFA kwa soka la chini ya miaka 18 inakatika hapa. Ishara ya dhahiri shahiri kwamba inakwenda mikwaju ya matuta, ili mradi mshindi apatikane na yule ambaye atakuwa anakutana na timu ya Rwanda katika hatua ya kuwania nishani ya shaba na yaweze kupatikana, manake atakayeshinda mtanange huu anapatana na Uganda moja kwa moja siku ya Ijumaa katika mechi ambayo ni ya fainali ya kukata na shoka. Imekuwa mechi ambayo anaweza kuilinganisha moja kwa moja kama fainali.
Naam, ni mechi ambayo imeleta raha kweli kabisa Makori, na ukiangalia ni timu mbili ambazo kila mmoja alikuwa anacheza kwa nidhamu. Ukiangalia Kenya walikuwa wanacheza kwa nidhamu ya kushambulia. Tanzania bara walikuwa wanacheza sana kwa nidhamu ya ulinzi, na ndio maana kipindi cha kwanza haukuweza kumuona Adron Kibe, haukuweza kumuona Luingavi sana. Kwa hivyo hapa moja kwa moja napata kwamba timu zote mbili zilikuwa na malengo tofauti. Kenya waliingia hapa wakijua kwamba tunaenda kutafuta magoli, lakini Tanzania na wao kama alivyozungumza mwalimu wao Habib Kondo kwamba tusikubali kufungwa. Sisi tutacheza kuhakikisha kwamba hatuwezi funga, kwa sababu Kenya na wachezaji ambao wanapiga pasi za kusonga.
Mwalimu Saita kutoka Hill School Eldoret anasema imekwaje leo tena ngoma isongi? Muulize Kakazema mbona leo isongi?
Imekataa tu mahali padogo, lakini vijana kwa kweli wamevipiga vita. Na hapa kwenye mikwaju ya penalti huwa hamna mbabe, huwa hakuna mbabe kabisa. Hapa ni kusirigwa kuweza kunyoshwa miguu upande wa Kenya. Sasa ni upande wa Tanzania. Habib Kondo pia naye anahakikisha kwamba wale watano wanapiga penalti, kila mmoja aweze kupiga penalti inavyostahili. Na hapa ni kusema kwamba kila mwalimu anahakikisha kwamba anapata wale watano wazuri na wazoefu. Huyu ni Anthony Mpemba ambaye ndio anakuwa tegemeo kwa Watanzania wote, mamilioni ya Watanzania. Huyu ni Ibrahim Wanzala ambaye yupo kwenye maombi ya Wakenya wote. Anahitajika kuweza angalau kuokoa penalti kadhaa, na mwisho siku wale ambao watapewa jukumu la kuweza kupiga pia na wao wapige penalti vile ambavyo inastahili. Na hapa itakuwa sasa ni kazi yake mwite Samuel Koko kuweza kuzungumza na Ibrahim Wanzala, na atakuwa na kazi pevu vile mwite Steve John Malashi, mwalimu wa makipa kwa upande wa Tanzania, pia naye aweze kupeleka baraka kwa Anthony Mpemba. Ibrahim Wanzala ashapokea baraka zake. Makori
kweli kabisa. Mugure Karuiru anasema yuko maeneo ya kule Nairobi, Kenya. Huyu ni wa RMS, anasema hapa matuta sasa itakuwaje? Ndio pia roho inadunda zaidi. Waamuzi pia nao kwa mara nyingine tena wanapata shughuli, kama sijakosea, ya 5 ya kuweza kupiga mazungumzo na mwamuzi. Hapa ndicho kitu kinafanyika kwa Elias Lamek na Amos Wanjala kwa upande wa Tanzania na Kenya mtawalia. Solomon Okwera Lino kutoka Sudan Kusini anamuuliza, unapenda kichwa ama mkia? Amos Wanjala anasema kwa sababu nipo Kisumu, nipe kichwa tu. Kweli
kwa sababu nipo Kisumu.
Kama anahitaji kumla samaki akipewa upande wa kichwa, anasema iko na nyama nyingi kuliko upande wa mkia.
Makapteni wote wanaridhiana, washakubaliana ni upande upi ambao utakuwa unapigwa mikwaju ya penalti. Anthony Mpemba, tutakuwa tunakufahamisha nani ambaye atakuwa anakaa mlangoni wa kwanza. Ni Anthony Mpemba huyu ama ni Ibrahim Wanzala kwa upande wa Kenya. Naweza kuona kwamba ni Anthony Mpemba nadhani ambaye atakuwa anakaa mchumani wa kwanza. Tutakuwa tunasahihisha hilo, tutakuwa tunaliweka rasmi. Ndio Kenya itakuwa inapiga penalti ya kwanza, Tanzania watadaka penalti ya kwanza. Makipa wote wawili wanaambiwa lazima uangalie ule mstari, lazima uangalie ule mstari, uangalie mstari ili inavyopigwa penalti hakikisha mguu wako mmoja umesimama mahali panapostahili. Nani ambaye anasema wa kwanza? Nani atadaka wa kwanza? Magolkipa wote wawili wameelekea sehemu moja, wote wawili wameelekea sehemu moja. Nani ambaye atadaka wa kwanza? Anthony Mpemba ama na atakuwa na daka wa kwanza ni Ibrahim Wanzala. Tanzania wanapiga penalti ya kwanza. Wachezaji wote 11 wamepiga magoti kuweza kuomba dua. Anapiga penalti ya kwanza ni Benjamin Ramadhan. Benjamin Ramadhan kupiga penalti ya kwanza kwa upande wa Tanzania. Benjamin Ramadhan, jezi nambari 16. Benjamin Ramadhan. Ni nini ambacho atakifanya Benjamin Ramadhan? Kumbuka aliingia kama nguvu mpya. Benjamin Ramadhan kule Tabora, kule Dodoma wanampigia dua. Benjamin Ramadhan anafunga penalti ya kwanza ya Tanzania.
Anafunga penalti ya kwanza ya Tanzania na kuamsha ari na hamu ya Tanzania kuelekea katika hatua ya fainali. Kijana Benjamin Ramadhan ameingia kama nguvu mpya, jezi nambari 16 mgongoni, ukipenda 16. Na angalia jinsi alijikunja kwa uzuri kabisa, akamwangalia Wanzala na kakaaje. Wanzala akamtuma pembeni kushoto, akaweka pembeni kulia. Mwisho wa siku Tanzania 1 Kenya 0, lakini Kenya inakuja kupiga penalti yake ya kwanza kabisa, na mhusika mkuu si mwingine isipokuwa ni
Collins Omondi dhidi ya Anthony Mpemba. Penalti ya kwanza ya Kenya. Collins na Mpemba. Collins na Mpemba. Collins anafunga.
Anafunga penalti muhimu kabisa kijana Collins, naye pia aliingia kama nguvu mpya. Wote ambao wamefunga matuta ya kwanza haya wote waliingia kama nguvu mpya kwa timu zao. Collins akiingia nguvu mpya kwa Kenya, naye akiingia Benjamin Ramadhan nguvu mpya upande wa Tanzania bara. 1-1.
Wanapiga penalti ya pili ni Tanzania. Mwite Said pia huyu ni nguvu mpya. Said nguvu mpya na Ibrahim Wanzala. Said penalti ya pili. Amos Wanjala nahodha mwenyewe. Amos Wanjala anapiga penalti ya pili kwa Kenya. Super Capital alionyesha uongozi kwa mechi zote 3 na hii ya 4. Amos Wanjala na Anthony Mpemba. Kitu gani ambacho atafanya Amos Wanjala? Wanjala Hida anapiga mkwaju wa tatu kwa Tanzania bara. Hija manusura kipa anaiona, lakini anacheka na nyavu, anafunga. Hida
aliweka chini kwa chini Hida, lakini Ibrahim Wanzala huyu alikuwa tayari amesha kuiona ngoma ile, lakini mwisho wa siku ikawa yamtangulia kupita. Alikuwa ameiona katika maeneo mazuri kabisa. Huyu ndo huenda akasimama kama shujaa wa Kenya. Subiri tu.
Penalti ya tatu kwa Kenya ni Stanley Omondi. Stanley Omondi na Anthony Mpemba. Huyu ndiye ambaye anaenda kupiga penalti ya tatu kwa Kenya. Anaenda kupiga penalti ya tatu kwa Kenya. Kenya wamefunga penalti zote mbili za kwanza. Stanley Omondi dhidi yake na Anthony Mpemba. Stanley Omondi aendelee kuongoza wa Kenya. Stanley Omondi anapiga penalti ya tatu kwa Kenya. Omondi anampa kipa pia na yeye. Anthony Mpemba anaiweka Kenya kwenye shinikizo. Sasa kila mmoja akapiga tatu, kila mmoja akakosa moja.
Stanley Omondi alikuwa, ukimwangalia uso wake kabla kwenda kupiga lile tuta, alikuwa tayari ni kama hajiamini sana, na anapiga hafifu sana, inakwenda mikononi mwake Anthony Mpemba, kipa nambari 1 wa Tanzania bara. Sasa inaoana ni 2-2, tuta la 4.
Tuta la 4 kwa Kenya. Kwa Tanzania ni Fales Mkude. Fales Mkude na Ibrahim Wanzala. Fales Mkude, mchezo mzuri ameuonyesha kwa Tanzania bara. Mkude anafunga. Mkude anafunga penalti ya 4 kwa Tanzania. Mkude anafunga penalti ya 4 kwa Tanzania. Sasa shinikizo ni kwa mpigaji wa 4 wa Kenya, Makori.
Alimuona kwa uzuri kabisa. Wanzala amekwenda kushoto, akaweka kulia, akajaza kile kitu ndani. Mwisho wa siku hapa anawapa uongozi timu ya Tanzania bara.
Humphrey Aroko kupiga penalti ya 4 kwa Kenya. Aroko anafahamu fika kwamba lazima afunge penalti yake.
Kweli
hii ndio penalti ambayo inakuwa na shinikizo kubwa sana, kuweka mambo sawa, kuwatoa Kenya kwenye shinikizo. Humphrey Aroko lazima aweze kuiunganisha penalti na kuwa goli, lakini ana kiunzi kikubwa kabisa ambacho kimewekwa rangi ya njano, na ni mwili wa Anthony Mpemba na urefu wake. Humphrey Aroko anajishika arms akimbo, anaambiwa na Solomon Okwera piga. Aroko
anafunga goli tamu zaidi hapa, na goli lake la 3 kwenye mashindano ya CECAFA under 18, lakini amefanya mambo mazito kabisa. Alifunga 2 wakati ya mechi yao dhidi ya Somalia. Aliweka pembeni uzuri kabisa, akamtupa pembeni Anthony Mpemba, na ni goli ambalo kiukweli inayaweka matumaini ya Kenya kuelekea fainali kwenye uhai wake.
Hapa ni Ibrahim Wanzala dhidi ya Wilson Sharif. Ibrahim Wanzala akiokoa hii, basi matumaini ya Kenya yako vizuri, lakini Sharif Wilson muhimu sana kwa Kenya. Saifas Owuor akifunga Kenya dhidi ya Uganda rasmi, akikosa tuendelea kupiga. Saifas Owuor huyu wa Kenya wote wanamtilia dua. Kwenye ofisi ya waziri Ababu na Mwamba amekamata Biblia waziri. Rais William Ruto amekamata Biblia. Nick Mwendo wa shirikisho amekamata Biblia. Wote wanamwombea Saifas Owuor. Mashabiki wamenyanyuka kwenye viti vyao. Hii ni penalti ambayo akiweka kimiani Kenya kwenye fainali. Saifas Owuor. Hispania, hapa si Ujerumani, hapa ni Kenya na tuko ndani ya Kenyatta, maeneo ya Kisumu.
Anafaa kupewa heko na pongezi ya hali ya juu. Mlinda mlango nambari 1 wa Junior Stars amejituma zaidi. Ibrahim Wanzala, mzaliwa tarehe 16 mwezi wa 3 mwaka 2005 na nyota wa Kakamega Homeboyz, anafanya kweli kwa mikwaju miwili, akaokoa tuta lake kijana ambaye ni Said, akaokoa tuta lake Sharifu Wilson. Mwisho wa siku Kilio Malala anapata raha kweli ndani ya uwanja wa Jomo Kenyatta. Mambo leo aliweka chini kwa chini, lakini alikuwa yuko macho sana Anthony Mpemba, lakini mwisho wa siku kijana Saifas Owuor anaituma Kenya Junior Stars fainali ya makala ya mwaka huu, fainali ambayo itapigwa siku ya Ijumaa hapa Stadio de Jomo Kenyatta. Mambo leo kaunti ya Kisumu dhidi ya Uganda itakuwa ni moja kati ya fainali juu ya fainali. Ananyanyuliwa juu zaidi kabisa Ibrahim Wanzala. Angalia afande anasema pia imepigwa kweli na raha na burudani kabisa.
Mashabiki wa Kenya wanakubali kwamba shughuli imepigwa. Yaani hadi kufikia sasa Kenya haijapoteza mchezo wote. Wanaingia kwenye fainali kibabe zaidi. Wanaitoa Tanzania kwenye nusu fainali na wanafunga penalti za 4. Tanzania wanafunga penalti 3 baada ya dakika 120 bila, lakini Kenya rasmi wanakutana na Uganda kwenye fainali ya siku ya Ijumaa. Huyu naye lazima anasema tukio moja kwa moja. Kwa kweli ni raha iliyoje, kila mmoja anataka kuwa shahidi, kila mmoja anataka kufahamika kama yupo. Jason Sagini mwanaspoti kwa mbali na muona pia amesema likuwepo. Sijachoka bado. Mashabiki wananyanyuka, wanasema hii ni raha, ni zaidi ya raha.
Wanataka kuweka kumbukumbu na kumbukeze kumbukumbu tena haya mataifa mawili, Kenya, Tanzania, yote ndani Uganda. Walikuwa wanaandaa kiputa kizima cha dimba la mataifa ya bara Afrika mwaka 2027, makala 36 kwa pamoja kabisa. Kenya, Tanzania na Uganda wanafanikiwa kufanikisha hiki kitu, na hapa imetamatika full time ya dakika 120. Kenya magoli 4, Tanzania bara magoli 3 baada ya kutamatika muda wa ziada 0-0.
Mashabiki kwa kweli, kila mmoja anaenda nyumbani akiwa na raha hapa. Yule ambaye ana bibi wawili leo anajiuliza nitalala nyumba kubwa ama nitalala nyumba ndogo. Yule ambaye hana anasema leo sifai kulala bila. Hatuangalii marika, kila mmoja anajua kwamba hapa shughuli imepigwa. Tazama umati ambao umekuja kwenye uwanja wa Jomo Kenyatta. Hawa si wa Kisumu pekee, kuna wale ambao wametoka Uganda pia, kuna wale ambao wametoka maeneo ya Nairobi, kuna wale waliotoka Busia na Kakamega, wote wamekuja hapa. Lakini mwisho wa siku Kenya wanaingia kwenye fainali.
Hii hali iliyoanza kwa uzuri kabisa zote mbili, Kenya na Tanzania. Mwamuzi katikati Solomon Okwera kutoka Sudan Kusini kaiamuru kwanza ngoma ambayo ilikuwa mzito, ngoma ambayo kila mtu aliingia kusaka goli muhimu akiwa kwenye ubora wake. Ismail Ali akaweka kile kitu, mwisho wa siku ngoma ikakwenda nje kabisa hapa, akashindwa kuunganisha. Zidane Sereri ikakwenda pembeni kabisa malango lake Ibrahim Wanzala, wakawa wanasaka. Kenya akaingia nahodha ambaye ni Amos Wanjala, kapteni mwenyewe, akamega chini kwa chini kumtafuta Ingavi akakuwa amekutana kabisa ana kwa ana na Anthony Mpemba. Mwisho wa siku ikawa ni ngoma ya madhambi kwa faida ya timu ya Tanzania. Angalia jinsi aliingia kwa uzuri nahodha mwenyewe Wanjala, akamega chini kwa chini kumtafuta Ingavi bila mafanikio kabisa. Ngome ikakuwa haina manufaa yoyote, bado wakawa kwenye sakasaka tu wa Kenya. Ilikuwa ni pasi ambayo kukolea kupiga.
Ambia wa Tanzania tutawatomba tena. Wende wacheze huko.
Ingavi wakawa tena kwenye sakasaka nyingi. Oto saka nyingi, Kenya wakapata nafasi nyingine, adimu akaweka kule dude, akaipaisha ngoma ile juu kwa juu. Ingavi mchezaji wa Monteverde Academy ya Marekani, ngoma kwenda nje kabisa. Ndio huyo hapa, ana magoli mawili hadi sasa, alifunga magoli mawili. Kenya ikisambaratisha Sudan, mechi ya kwanza yao ya kundi la A ikitamatika magoli 5-0 katika mtanange huo muhimu kabisa uliopigwa hapa ndani ya Stadio de Jomo Kenyatta. Mambo leo ikaletwa tena nzito kabisa na Stanley Omondi Wilson, lakini akapapa juu Anthony Mpemba akaidokona kuipangua ngoma ile, ikakwenda juu kwa juu kabisa, ikatoka nje. Na hapa ilikuwa nafasi ya demo sana ya Kenya ya kuandika goli muhimu. Hawakukomea hapo, wakawa kwenye sakasaka wa Tanzania, akaingia kwa uzuri kabisa tena hapa Benjamin Ramadhani, nguvu mpya. Ngoma ile tena ikakosa mwelekeo kabisa. Lida akashindwa kufanya ule muunganiko tu timie liwe goli, na mwisho wa siku hapa alikuwa ameingia kwa uzuri sana Benjamin Ramadhani, akaleta dude safi kwenye guu lake la kulia hapa, akashindwa kuweka kitu ndani. Lida wanapanda sasa Kenya kwa uzuri tena, kwa amekateleza chini kwa chini hapa, alikuwa ameingia tena Sifa Sowor. Mwisho wa siku hakulenga shabaha kwa uzuri kabisa, lakini yani shabaha yake ilikuwa iko kwenye maeneo yake. Kaenda dakika 120 0-0, ikakuja ni matuta hapa, akacheza kujituma zaidi Ibrahim Wanzala, akaokoa tuta lake. Sharifu Wilson akasimama tisti kabisa. Ibrahim Wanzala akaleta hamu kwa Wakenya hapa, na angalia Sifa Sowor akaingia katika maeneo yake mazuri. Tuta lake lilikuwa muhimu zaidi, akaweka chini kwa chini, akaandika goli muhimu kabisa, goli ambalo limefanya matokeo kutamatika mikwaju ya matuta, ikiwa ni Kenya 4 Tanzania 3. Kenya iko fainali dhidi ya Uganda.
hakutaka kutia huko mbele, hakutaka kufanya chochote, na kwa hivyo watu wakawa